Hello, I'm Monica Cross, and this is a reading of my play, Wonder of Our Stage. In early March, a reading of this play was canceled. Since we had already planned for the reading, I decided to record it to Zoom and make it available on YouTube instead. And so here we are. I am grateful to the cast who's reading for me tonight. Many of them have been with me through the development of this play, reading early drafts, workshopping it at the Sarasota Area Playwright Society, or a part of the reading and subsequent performance backstage at the Players. I would like to thank them for all their hard work, and I would like to thank you for allowing us to share this with you. Today, Pamela Hopkins will be Queen Elizabeth, Jan Wallace as John Dee, Zach Hanna as the Automaton, Rick Robertson as Richard Burbage, and Frances Boyle as Cuthbert Burbage. And with that, we will begin.
Master John Dee, mathematician, astrologer, alchemist, and some even dare say necromancer. We have heard a great many wonders told about your skill. Some say you conjure angels, others that you converse with demons. These rumors do not interest us. We come here on the eve of our coronation with a commission. We charge you to turn your skills to the art of matrimony. We watched our sister's marriage destroy her reign. We shall not make the same mistake. We must do better for ourselves, our kingdom. We cannot wed a subject, and I will not wed a foreign power. We never shall subject our will to the care of one not fit to rule this kingdom. Since nothing yet on earth can fulfill this required charge, we look to your inspiration to find a match. Search the spheres, delve into the depths of your alchemical abyss, seek beyond the knowledge of men, whatever you must to find for us a husband, one who is not foreign, but neither can he be a subject. Do this, Master Dee. Do this for your queen. Do this, and you shall be known throughout the world as more than a vain conjurer. You will be the envy of all, a power which is now beyond your arts. Do this quickly, Master Dee.
Act 1, Scene 1. Dee's workshop. John Dee begins to pull back the curtain in his shop. Behind it, the automaton is standing lifeless.
I have given you shape out of the heart of an oak tree, and magnificent engine to brag somewhat of my skill, and I have here a distillation of the off-philosopher's stone. All I lack is the touch of the queen, but with the magical properties of the touch of a divinely chosen monarch, life shall swell within this little frame. Let me look at you one more time. A single hair must not be out of place.
John Dee adjusts and tinkers with various parts of the automaton.
I have filled your mind with all of the knowledge of this our age, languages, mathematics, alchemical formulae, astrological charts, every quantifiable thing that can be found in nature. It is up to you to perform all this admirably before Her Majesty. You have taken so many years to complete. You must not fail me now, for I must not fail her. I will keep this curtain closed until she arrives. It will be more dramatic to unveil you before her eyes. Be watchful in the dark till I return.
John Dee closes the curtain. He looks around the shop for anything else to tidy. Stacks of books, piles of letters, anything that might be out of place. Queen Elizabeth makes a grand entrance. John Dee bows low and long.
Well, we are here. I must say, we had almost given up on you. It has been 30 years.
Oh, yes, 30 years to the day. I thought it would be a fitting anniversary of my commission to complete on the exact day it was assigned.
It is fitting to honor us with speedy responses. Anniversaries and auspicious dates do but delay our happiness. We have waited silent all these years, but hope has been our silent partner through it all. So now I ask, almost afraid to know the answer, have you done it? At last, do you bring hope to the state?
I offer a solution. The husband I propose is no foreigner. The husband I propose is made of good English stock, but yet has never been your subject.
These were our limitations. Who have you found that is neither subject nor foreigner?
It is
Tell us
required.
how all this is managed.
It is required you do awake your faith.
John Dee draws back the curtain to reveal the lifeless automaton.
I do not understand.
This is the husband you requested.
And how? Pray tell, will this oversized doll address our issues on matrimony?
This is no doll, I do assure your majesty.
At any time you could have admitted defeat, said that nothing in this world could give me what I asked. Instead, you treat me with contempt. You have held me in hope for 30 years, only now to present me with a toy.
This is no toy or trick, I swear.
Do not waste my time.
I have created a man, but you must give him life.
This is no man.
Tarry but a little. This time which you account wasted was spent by me in deep research. I must count on 2 hands the method I have found for bestowing life, some more damnable than sin itself, and others which would equal me with divinity, although I profane your ears to say so. I could have brought you this man whole and ready for your wedding, but then he would have lacked one vital component, a royal pedigree.
And how do you propose to conjure that?
Well, the touch of the divinely chosen monarch has many powerful properties, and I have strong evidence that proves your touch, together with my art, will bring this man to life.
We are listening.
You who have waited so long need only reach out and claim your groom.
Queen Elizabeth begins to reach out to touch the automaton, but then stops and turns instead to John Dee.
Even if all you say is true, this man is made of wood. How can this be the husband we have awaited for so long?
He is all that you have asked for and more. When first you tasked me with this enterprise, you did not care how I solved this problem. You wanted it done. There is no man in heaven or earth that could fulfill the criteria you have set to me, and yet I have found a solution. And do you balk now at the results?
I am quite dismayed at this display.
I beg your patience, Majesty, but what a simple incantation, and you may judge for yourself if I have fulfilled my promise.
If it is no more than that, you'd best get on with it. What must I do to see this through?
Place your hand here upon his chest.
Queen Elizabeth moves to the automaton and places her hand on his chest.
With your hand upon his heart, I need only pour this mixture over his head to start his mind.
John Dee pours the mixture on the head of the automaton.
Forma vidigitor Dominus Deus hominem delimo terrae et spiravitim faciem eius spiriculum vitae et factus est homo in animam viventem.
The automaton comes to life slowly and shakily.
I suggest your Majesty takes a few steps away as he awakens for the very first time.
We do believe, Master Dee, that is sound advice.
Queen Elizabeth backs away from the automaton. The automaton turns its head to look at Queen Elizabeth, then to John Dee, and back again.
Go on. Greet the Queen.
Shakily, the automaton turns to Queen Elizabeth and bows stiffly.
Your most royal highness, he was made to marry you.
A bit forward, isn't he? Or should I say it? Master D, does it do more than bow?
The automaton straightens up and looks questioningly at John Dee.
Well, go on. Show her that you can walk and talk like a normal man.
But what is normal? How should I conduct myself?
Now, boy, do not dally. Show her what you are capable of.
You programmed me to love her, yet you did not give me instruction how. What shall I do? Shall I first sing or dance?
Go to.
Most reverend lady, what now would please you most? How am I to win your love?
Look at him. He shakes and starts and knows not what to say.
He needs more time to adjust. He is new.
And I am old. I have waited too long for this. I can wait no longer.
Oh, Your Majesty need not worry.
Oh, I am past worry, as I am past hope.
You but hold out a little longer.
And what shall I behold when I have tarried longer in this place? Will devils climb up out of the floor? Will the dead appear from whence they ought never return and speak of horrors?
If I may,
You may not. This is but a bauble which you have made to dance, a fantastical mirage and nothing more.
But I have spent years building this automaton. This was my last hope.
You, Master D, were my last hope. We dismiss you of our service and relinquish you of your duty. If 30 years of searching have brought you but to this, we will be dead before you could find another match half so suitable.
Oh, if I could explain, I could...
There is nothing you can say that can undo the ill will you have so engendered in me today. This makes a mockery of us and our state, which has long urged us to relent and marry. But you have held me steadfast in my resolve on the expectation you would find a solution. We shall not bear this humiliation alone. You will know the solitude from which comes our displeasure. There will be no corner of the isle in which you are not published as fraud. When you try your friends, you will find they are loyal subjects first. You will be alone with this disappointing tree trunk as your sole companion.
I beseech you.
Your prayers fall on deaf ears. We will show ourselves out. You should stay. You would do well to undo what you have done, for we never more shall look upon this thing. Farewell, sorcerer.
Act 1, Scene 2. Dee's workshop. John Dee with a stack of books. The automaton is sitting in a dreary corner, staring at the wall.
Oh, get up. You are collecting cobwebs. While you have moped there, I have gone around to work. Upon consideration, I now no longer believe Her Majesty's reprimand to be genuine. How could I, who have done so much over my many years of service, be cast out in such a manner from Her Grace? You see, these strong words were merely an admonishment. She spoke harshly to renew my vigor. I must complete the task which I began 30 years ago, turning you into a suitable husband for the Queen.
I am a useless block. 'Twere better I were lifeless too. I have no point in living.
You are quite dramatic. Good heavens me. Overnight you've become a melancholy lover. Well, I suppose that is some of my doing, but never you mind that. Heed my instruction, and you will be a suitor presently.
There is no point when love is lost.
I believe that you yet have the power to change her heart. And I most certainly hope so, for I have pinned my advancement on you, my boy. Oh, but this moping and self-pity, that is no way to win the lady. You must study, observe humanity, learn nobility, practice the art of love. Now, next time you see her, you must be refined, polished in all your manners, a man worthy of her royal affection.
She does not wish to see me more. She said so herself. If we cross paths in a next time, she will surely have me dismantled for the offense. I am a joke. She mocked me where I stood.
You are not the first to suffer rejection. Here, I brought you texts to study. Holinshed Chronicles, Goldson's Ovid, Petrarch's Sonnets. I have programmed you already with all of the geometry and astrology our age can provide, but you must learn history and poetry. Now, I will not take more moping on your part. I cannot and will not fail Her Majesty. So you must do your best to be the best for her. Now go. You must get to work.
Act 1, Scene 3, backstage at the theater. Cuthbert Burbage with a ledger.
Philip has a Pope's mitre, and sblood, we need one too. Where does one get a Pope's mitre? It's not the sort of thing you pick up at your local haberdashery.
John Dee enters, interrupting Cuthbert's train of thought.
Excuse me, I was looking for the bookkeeper.
I am no mere bookkeeper.
Oh, I never meant to insinuate that you were. I'm sorry to offend. I was told that if I wanted to hire an actor, I should inquire with the man within. I saw only you and thus concluded.
Well, you have found the proprietor of this establishment, or very nearly. The owner is my father, and I am his right hand. What do you want? State your business.
I have a pupil that requires a tutor.
And I can address this how?
My pupil's needs must learn to play a man. He knows not how to perform the part.
I do not handle those arrangements.
Well, if you manage the playhouse, you not also make arrangements for the actors under your employ?
I do not, Sierra, arrange the boys for hire.
I do not seek a boy. I seek a man. To teach a man what men should do.
I am not pander for these youths.
I'm not looking for a lover. I seek someone who can teach grace and refinement, a courtly countenance, to teach a man to woo.
This is an unusual request.
I'll do it.
And who are you?
I don't need you gallivanting all over Eastcheap.
Are you worried that I'll do my gallivanting without you?
No. Gallivanting is not what I am looking for.
Master Richard Burbage of his Lord Chamberlain's men, at your service. I play the lover, and the soldier, and the scholar, and the prince. Whatever it is you desire, I can provide.
With an introduction like that, you certainly don't need a crier.
Oh, like it isn't my reputation that pads your books.
Very well. Whose name shall I put on the account?
I shall pay for the account. Master D.
John Dee?
Dee?
It seems you also need no blazon read before you. We have heard your name of late, and it does not carry credit well.
I am affronted, sir, that you should say so.
Then you can show your front to the door. Your reputation is a black mark which will stain those known to associate with you.
I do not need associates. I need a tutor. I have a most rare pupil under my charge, which would...
No pupil is worth incurring the wrath of Her Majesty the Queen.
No, Cuthbert, my interest is piqued.
This is not a reputation we can afford to mingle with our own.
I am the soul of discretion. Besides, without risk, there is no reward.
And what reward is here?
Oh, to do a thing no man has done before.
We are not interested.
Well, I am. And though you are my brother, you are not my keeper. I may come and go as I please.
Then do as you wish. But if you jeopardize what we have made, you will find another leading man, the face of the Lord Chamberlain's men, and yourself upon the streets, blood or no.
I never fear, brother. I will not lead us to ruin. Master Dee, can you pay for lessons up front?
Why, never in my life have I been so misused. First, he insults me to my face, and on top of that, you will not take my word on credit.
My brother must be appeased.
Very well, but this black mark, as you have called it, is but a temporary lapse. It will all be cleared up once my pupil has a tutor who can teach him proper decorum. A few lessons in my house, for the which I will pay up front, and I will be in Her Majesty's favour once more, and the name of John Dee will be lauded rather than held in such contempt.
I look forward to meeting the pupil that is the cause of such fuss.
Come with me to make the necessary arrangements. Richard, go buy Ned a small ale and see if you can't get from him where Philip got his Pope's mitre.
Act 1, Scene 4. Dee's workshop. John Dee and the Automaton.
I have brought you something, my son.
Is it more books?
Oh, no, my boy, nothing like that.
Good, for I am not done with those I have.
Oh, are you having trouble with your studies?
I have a question.
Ask away, child. Now, what don't you understand?
Well, Father, it is not exactly a comprehension that I lack. My question rather grows from my understanding than the opposite. Why do all these poems fixate on lost love? And why do humans read of love that is unrequited? What is to be gained by reveling in such pain? I know that I was made to marry her, my queen, but why would men so stumble into chance when it may be that the one they do desire could thus prove false and leave them as with me?
Not an easy question, my son. You were made to love, but so was humanity. First and foremost, we pursue passion. Now, sometimes it is another person, sometimes a position of state, an artisan's craft. Anything that exists in the spheres is subject to human desire. What is more, no alchemical chart, no study of the stars, no divination, virtuous or damnable, can explain why particular spirits are drawn to particular desires. God, fortune, or the fates might know, but my art has never been capable of comprehension. Continue to ask such questions, my boy, and you shall very shortly be a scholar. But romance is more than petty rhymes and songs. You must learn the art of wooing. You must learn to be a man.
Sir, I can be no more than you have made.
No, but I have made you for more than to read books. Now, I have brought a tutor for you.
You are the greatest mind that ever lived. I surely need no more than your great teaching.
I am no gallant to teach you the finer points of a woman's heart. Now, what you can glean from books we have seen already. Now you must learn court etiquette, dancing, chivalry, and the like. For soon you ought to show these outward signs of love. It is in these arts that she must see your love. I am certain you are more than capable, and yet you need to learn. To that end, I have brought a tutor for you. He waits outdoors for me to bid him in. Are you ready to meet a new schoolmaster?
If I must.
This man will be your guide, teach you what I cannot. You must not be sullen or cross. This is for your own good, so that you could win the queen to your heart.
Then let him in.
Be civil when he enters. You there at the door? Come in to meet your pupil. Oh, there, I say.
Richard Burbage enters, and John Dee corners him at the door.
Now, as I mentioned, I have a quite peculiar pupil for you. He has been rejected by his betrothed.
And you want me to teach him how to act like a man?
I was settled for teaching him how to act like a man.
Well, then show me to my pupil.
No, that there are rules. 1, he is not to leave this house. 2...
Enough. Let me see the lad.
Well then, behold.
John Dee moves out of his way, revealing the automaton. The automaton stands as still as marble.
You have brought me here to teach a statue how to act?
Oh, by no means. You mustn't be surprised by his shape. He is a creation of mine, destined to great things. But he first must study the art of being a man. That is where you come in.
Can you speak for yourself?
When I have something to say.
Well, why, so you can.
Oh, swearing. That's not a very good start. Now, for my rules...
I am Richard Burbage, principal actor for his Lord Chamberlain's men, and how, pray tell, should I address you?
I do not know.
Oh, I have not named him yet.
A neglectful father to not name his son.
A father never cared more for his natural-born son. I have been both mother and father.
That may be a type of care, but in a name one can find the nature of a man. I think I should speak to my pupil in private. You ought to leave the room to us.
Well, but we have not yet gone over my rules.
Now he is my pupil. I shall oversee his tutelage with my rules. I will not fail in my results, but for now, you must go.
As you wish, Master Burbage, but I expect a full report and speedy progress. We must not keep her waiting. I'll take a turn around the courtyard.
John Dee leaves.
Come, now that we are free of the old man, I long to hear about you.
What is there to say he cannot hear?
I want you to speak your mind, if that is the correct turn of phrase. Let me look at you. You are exquisite in every way.
My lady thinks not so.
Now, perhaps you are somewhat unsteady, but exquisite just the same. Training will make you more sure of yourself. That is why your so-called father has brought me here. And for your first lesson, I must know what to call you.
My father, Master Dee, has called me boy, or son, or child. I think there was some other name before, which he did call me in his shop, but I do not have solid memories of that time.
You are actually most fortunate. Most men would love the chance to name themselves, but we find ourselves constrained by the social custom of being named before we are born. But you can have any name you want. Or kings, or come up with some new appellation yet unheard.
I have not thought of what I could be called.
Here's a thought. I am given to understand that you are attempting to win a lady to your advantage later. Choose the name of a great person with whom you can compare yourself in your quest for love.
Like Troilus, or Aeneas, or Leander.
Good heavens, no. In love. Try something with less dreadful portents. If you take the name William, for example, you could write to your love that you will conquer her as your namesake did to this fair isle so many years ago.
Is that the way to win the love of the Queen?
You seek to win the love of Her Majesty the Queen? You have not set your sights on an easy mark.
I did not choose to love the Queen. I was made to be a husband for her, but I have failed to please. Now I must learn to be a man to win her back and prove my worth.
Destiny like that is hard to contend with. There are other names like Hal.
I think I would like to be called William, for it was her will that brought me into being, and therefore her will I am.
Well then, there you go. William is a fine, hearty name. You can go far with it. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, William. Now that we have dispensed with introductions, we must move on to our next lesson. Put on your cloak. We are going.
Go out? I have never left this room.
You can only learn so much from reading. You must go out, meet the people of the city, observe their motion, gait, and speech, see how they interact, speak the way he does, and why a woman reacts in certain ways to what is said.
My queen did mock me, and you thought me a toy.
I thought you a statue.
Nevertheless, what will the people of London town do when they see me?
Pluck down your hat upon your brow, and we will pass undetected on the street. Come, I have something I want to show you. I will explain our going to Master Dee.
Richard Burbage opens the door to find John Dee waiting just outside. As the automaton grabs a cloak and hat, John Dee enters.
We are going out.
The child cannot leave.
William will be learning about humanity firsthand.
Oh, William, eh? Well, William will be staying here. He might be seen out there.
Then let men look.
You must impart your instruction here.
I will be careful, Father.
As I have said, if I am to tutor, it must be by my rules.
Yet here I draw the line. He cannot leave.
Then here perhaps Ned Allen will be bossed about, but not I, sir. Good day.
But wait, you cannot leave. You have agreed to take the fee, so do the work.
It's on my terms.
Not good enough.
Then hear me out. Here he cannot stretch his wings.
I would not have him be another Icarus.
But he must be the falcon if he is going to catch this prey. You would have him be the mouse, sooner trapped than taught to soar.
And for just cause.
Enough when love is in sight. Give him his freedom under the cover of his cloak, and undetected through London streets we will pass.
Oh, Father, let me go. I will return anon.
Then go, but do not tarry, and promise to be careful on the street.
Richard exits, and John Dee pulls the cloak up around the automaton's face. The automaton exits, and John Dee watches them from the door.
Confound the boy for taking that man's side.
Act 1, Scene 5, Dee's workshop, John Dee pacing.
This is the 5th time this week they've gone out for these lessons, yet I see no marked improvements. The boy is just as clumsy as before. Oh, why the devil could they be this late? He should have been home hours ago. Oh, what sort of lesson could take 10 hours? Later and later they are out each time. Soon he shall not return at all, and then where will I be?
The automaton enters, removes his hat, and throws back his cape.
Where have you been? Did you get lost? Have you been damaged? Did anyone see you? Answer me quickly and all at once.
Why, you should have made me with a larger mouth if I am to be able to answer all these things at once.
You have had me worried sick. Now, where were you?
I have been walking with my tutor this whole day. We observed the people, young and old, who scurried here and there. People are so magnificent. I truly marvel at them.
And you people watched all day? This is some education.
No, that was not all. Mid-afternoon, Master Burbage took me round to see a play new written at the Rose. The play was about mad Hieronymo, who in the garden found his sad son dead. Oh, but you would be amazed to see. Emotions I had not known to exist erupted from the actors on the stage. There was so much more than I had read. For in the poems and chronicles I understood that there was loss and grief, but to see it firsthand was more than I had thought. To watch the lady slay herself, I was so moved that I began to wish that you had made my face to cry. Master Burbage had to hold me back and remind me that it was all a show. When the actors all got up and danced a jig, I was so relieved I laughed and laughed. The sensation scared me a bit, and that caused Master Burbage to laugh as well. And soon all those around who had just moments before eyes full of tears were infected by our laughter. I did not know that mood could be infectious, and yet there we were, all laughing at once.
The playhouses. He has been taking you to the playhouses?
Aye, Master Burbage did just as you commanded. He is instructing me in every point how to be a man. And as we walked the streets tonight, we did speak of how to talk to women, to woo and court, and how I might win the queen's affection.
This is not what I expected when I hired that player to teach you how to act. You must not give way to every fancy that crosses your mind. You ought to be the suitor to the queen. Swaggering in taverns and frequenting public playhouses is not the way to learn a courtly love. Now, I do not like you out on the street for such a long time. What have you unnoticed? What will come of you?
I do take care, Father.
I do not doubt that you think you do, and yet
And yet?
That actor does not seem to understand the danger you are in, nor the care that he should have of you. He makes poor use of your time together.
I think not so.
As your father and creator, I know best. You should study practice speeches to recite before Her Majesty.
But he teaches me how to be free of thought and tongue. In this way, I do not need to put to heart other men's words. I am finding my own language with which I can describe the world.
And yet a practice speech studied at length would take you far. You must not be caught before Her Majesty unprepared and stammering again.
Never fear, Father, for I will study both, so that I might speak freely before the Queen, and show her the mind which you created. And if my words fail, I will have studied speeches which you can prepare, so that at the very least I do not look like a fool when I finally stand before Her Majesty once more.
Well, then, go on. Go to. I will prepare you speeches presently.
Act 1, Scene 6. Backstage at the theater, Cuthbert Burbage with a Pope's mitre.
This looks too small. Much smaller than the one at the Rose. I will have to send it back. It must be bigger.
In comes Richard Burbage.
Richard, a word.
Just one.
How is your pupil?
He is a quick study, though not without his quirks.
What's wrong with him?
Well, nothing is wrong per se.
Did that necromancer do something to him? Is that why he is only seen in a large cloak pulled close around his face, his hat pulled down upon his ears, that his face cannot be seen?
He is uneasy about his appearance and wishes to avoid the public eye.
So he walks hauntingly about the streets. Why not just stay at home?
It is part of my tutelage.
I was told you took him to the Rose.
You did not want him here.
I did not want you to attract attention, which you have done.
I have caused no scandal.
People are talking nonetheless.
There is no harm in talking, as there is no harm in young William's education.
He has a name at least. None I have talked to yet can have been able to put a name to that shaky figure.
The child is young and needs time to grow into his own.
Child, he is a grown man.
He is so new to the world that it is all too much for him.
That seems generous.
Cuthbert, it would betray a trust to explain this to you now. When you meet the boy, you will see what I mean, and you will love him as I do.
Love.
Of a kind, yes.
After such a short time.
He is a wonder to behold, only he does not fully comprehend that yet.
And if in his ignorance he makes a scene?
He is as of yet afraid of a fly. He will not cause trouble in the streets or in the playhouses. Let him shuffle through the streets for the time being. A fortnight more and he will be much more steady than he was before.
This is not a guarantee.
I give you my word. No ill will shall be called in the theatre because of him. He is remarkable, and yet I have no words to impress upon you how quickly he has grown from pupil to friend. If you're not so dead set against this, I would like for you to meet him.
I am not so cold. If this pupil means us no harm, then bring him by.
And you do not care who his father is?
His father? Who? Dee is his father.
It is a complicated matter.
Complications are what I sought to avoid.
He is nothing like his father.
And does not carry the queen's ill favor?
I cannot easily answer that. It is because of the son that the father is out of favor, and yet, before you protest, this ill will is none of William's doing. His father made rash promises which the son cannot keep. Is that to be William's fault?
It is if Her Majesty says it is.
If the queen were to see him today, she would not now hold the harsh opinion of him that she once did. Of that I am sure.
And what am I to do with that?
Do with it what you like, but you will like this boy when you finally allay your fears and meet him face to face.
I will reserve judgment until, upon meeting him, I can determine for myself he will not ruin us.
Once his lessons have progressed, I will bring him here.
Will I be able to see his face? Or will he keep that ominous cloak pulled up upon his ears?
I prophesy that shortly all of London will see his face.
Act 1, Scene 7. Dee's workshop. The automaton sits writing. John Dee interrupts him.
I have penned a few odd speeches in the style of the court. Euphuism has grown quite popular of late. But what is this? What are you doing, William?
I am simply writing sonnets.
Oh, well, it is good to see that your training is paying off.
I read so many poems when we first began my training. Now I make it my sport to write sonnets of mine own.
Are these for Her Majesty?
That's not what they are for.
These are about having children. You should instead start with courtship and romance.
I write as I am curious to explore.
You should most certainly start with courtship and romance.
As I was created and not born as other men must be, I have grown curious of late. Is not the end result of courtship marriage, and of marriage offspring?
Oh, one result can be a child.
But not with me, O father, not with me.
The Queen said nothing about children. She said a husband, and you are in every way equipped to be a husband, and a fine one at that.
But to be clear, the subject is not our queen. My goal is only to experiment with form before I pen such verses for her.
Then who is the subject of these poems? This youth you are writing to, who is that?
No one.
My foot. I know you are penning love poems for your tutor.
Your foot means nothing to my poetry, and much less unto this conversation.
Oh, you are impertinently obtuse. You know all too well what I mean.
If by that you mean I know too well your moods, you are correct. Your care for me has become laced with hard words and strong objections ever since you invited Master Berbers to tutor me.
You have become infatuated with that actor.
You have become consumed with jealousy. You are suspicious of his work, but remember it was I that did not want him at the first. You brought him here, and now I have learned so much from him, more than I thought possible.
This is not an education. You spend day after day watching him perform. Well, when this first started, you would walk to Shoreditch once, maybe twice a week. Now you go there every day.
That I admire the man, it is true. I could not deny such a fact. If I do write for him, what's that to you?
Enough. Have I not educated you, bought you books, provided a tutor, though he has been ill-suited to the task, and all at my own expense? Rather than gratitude, the thanks I get are insolence and hard words.
Should I thank you for dictating my every move? Since my creation, you have commanded me to move this way or that. And for that, should I thank you? You have imposed how I must speak. And for that, should I thank you? You have decreed what I should say, and for that should I thank you? Nay, you go so far now as to inform me of how I should think, and for that I am to thank you. The only freedom I have had is under the direction of your ill-suited tutor. Only in our lessons have I been able to truly be myself.
You are what I have made you.
But I am becoming so much more than that.
You should be a suitor for the queen.
But I must also be a man. Is not that what you made me to be?
I made you, and that is enough. If you cannot fulfill your duty to the queen for whom you were created, it would be better I had not made you at all.
What is that you say?
You must curb your will to mine. It is the proper order of the universe. Meditate on your duty.
John Dee leaves the room.
I am nothing more than a toy, a puppet in his eyes. And yet I feel I am so much more than even now I can conceive. Have I not grown steadily these past few weeks? These petty verses, they are but exercises, and perhaps they have some touches of my thoughts in them, but not in such a serious fashion as he claimed. He is a fool to give them so much weight.
There is a knock, and the automaton jumps to open the door.
Good day, young Master William.
Good day, Master Burbage. Now let's be on our way.
What is the cause for rushing so? You're to invite me in and exchange pleasantries before we depart. This over-eagerness in you reveals a defect in manners we must overcome.
We do not have time to spend on ceremony. Let us go now, quickly and quietly. My father is not pleased.
John Dee re-enters.
A word or two with you, Master Burbage. We need to address the manner of your edification of young William.
Indeed we do, when you are so uncivil as to berate a guest at the door. Now let me in.
My house is not a public house where any rabble may come in.
Rabble? I? If you are all too eager for my help in the education of young William?
But you have not done as I have requested. You are a charlatan. Now I see that clearly.
I am lead player at the theatre, and this is how you address me. I will not stand for this.
Oh, hold your tongue. You are a hired man, not some swaggering scoundrel that can tell me my own business within my own home. I do not want him out upon the street for hours at a time.
If he is ever to win the heart of Her Majesty the Queen, Elizabeth, you must not think of him as she does. You made him already a full-grown man. Now let him learn what that means with all the responsibilities and pressures. Do not hinder him.
The people in the street would not see him as you and I. He will fall under scrutiny.
I think you are more concerned that you will fall under scrutiny. Your reputation for necromancy already has you under suspicion. I do not really care about that. You want me to teach him how to be a man, and this is the only way I know how to do that, so good day to you, sir.
Good day.
Richard Burbage exits.
You shall not follow him.
And what will happen should I disobey?
Do not taunt me, child.
This is no taunt, but rather a promise I intend to keep. I will be home late, Father. Do not wait up.
Study your lessons well, my child, or you may shortly need them.
The automaton looks at John Dee for a moment, then follows Richard Burbage out.
What am I to do with this creation? Each week he grows into more of a man, but these sprouts are not of my making. I did not plant this insolence in him. And yet in him I see this waywardness is not a defect. His noble soul, if I can term it that, rebels thus at his idleness. He is more than ready for another introduction to the Queen, and yet should she still resent him, it would fall on me, and thus I keep him here. The more he roams the street, the greater grows the chance that news of him will make it to her ears. She is not known to have an easy temper. If my continued education of the boy be to her disliking, may not his ridiculous form paraded on the street be seen as treasonous mockery in me? I could be remanded in the tower, or worse, if treason is the charge. I have begun to hate the boy for being what he is. For any way forward is a danger to me, and his strong will must forge a path despite my many attempts to stay him here.
Act 1, Scene 8, backstage at the theater. Cuthbert and the automaton in conversation.
And so she meant to insult you when she said that, You do shake.
She meant it to dismiss me from her favor.
Why then do you wish to take that as a surname for yourself?
Well, her words compose my earliest memory, and yet, you see, I shake no more. To her mind, I am no more than a doll, a toy which she feels mocked withal. Still, I have overcome her jeers and become master of myself.
Enter Richard Burbage with a round of drinks.
What about Shake Bag? There was a cut person that went by such a name.
That is a vile suggestion. If you wish to take the word and twist it to reflect your present circumstances, pair it with some manly thing.
In what way do you mean a manly thing?
Think of some virile thing that will imply you are now the man that she should want.
Like shaft or rod or staff, something like that.
And spear? Would spear not work just as well?
Certainly, it does get to the point.
Then that is settled. A pleasure to finally make your full acquaintance, William Shakespeare.
To William Shakespeare.
You said you wanted this experience of drinking. Is it possible for you to become drunk, do you think?
Well, I can do all that a man can do.
Let's put that to the test.
Richard Burbage hands the automaton one of the cups of ale. The automaton takes a big swig from the cup. He instantly spews it on the floor.
Oh, much have I read of ale and small beer, but nothing could have prepared me for the taste. This vile substance tastes of poisonous brine.
You say that now, but we will teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
Oh, I care not for it, and yet I will sip once more of this strange liquor, for I find that often things at first seem far more bitter than they do with age.
The automaton takes another sip, much smaller one this time, enjoying it a bit more.
That is more like it. My friend, you will be a man in short order, swearing and swaggering like the rest of us.
You should show my brother one of your speeches.
What speech should I recite?
Why not one of those sonnets that you wrote, or that speech you penned yesterday?
Then here it goes, with thanks for your indulgence. To be or not to be? Aye, there's the point. To die, to sleep, is that all? Aye, all. No, to sleep, to dream. Aye, marry, there it goes. For in that dream of death, when we awake and born before an everlasting judge, from whence no passenger ever returned, the undiscovered country, at whose sight the happy smile and the accursed damned. But for this, the joyful hope of this, who'd bear the scorns and flattery of the world? Scorns by the right rich, the rich cursed of the poor? The widow being oppressed, the orphan wronged, the taste of hunger or a tyrant's reign, and thousand more calamities besides. To grunt and sweat under this weary life, when that he may his full quietus make with a bare bodkin. Who would this endure but for a hope of something after death, which puzzles the brain and doth confound the sense, which makes us rather bear those evils we have than fly to others we know not of? Aye, that. Oh, this conscience makes cowards of us all.
Are you not impressed?
You wrote this.
Thus in my room I sat, musing on the state which I should emulate of man. Which traits does he retain that I still lack? I asked myself, none other being by, and musing thus I wrote about my death, which I must needs hereafter wonder at. Will I die as other humans do? And will I go where everyone believes, or to some other where I alone must number out the days unto oblivion?
Excellent. I'll drink to that.
I marvel that you did all this. Your mind is just as wondrous as your form. My brother has hidden you from me in order to keep you to himself. Richard, you should have brought him round.
He has not kept me hidden. He rather has enlarged me from a captivity which I scarce did comprehend before his coming.
It was a jest. He means we should have visited sooner.
I would have understood my brother's interest had he brought you round at first, instead of scurrying cross town in an oversized cloak.
You do not think my appearance a thing too ghastly to behold?
I marvel. But there is nothing monstrous in your countenance.
Will others think as you do?
I don't know, William. I do not know.
Come. It grows late, and your impatient father will want you home.
Act 1, Scene 9, Dee's workshop, the Automaton and Richard Burbage. Richard is singing drunkenly.
In youth, when I did love, I thought it was very sweet. And
Is it not so sweet now as it was before?
no, this song does not reflect my loves, although I have known losses in love.
How did you cope with your lost love, Efface?
I moved on. You either move on or you die. And if one must die, I'd like to think I should find a better way than pining.
But Petrarch promised lovers pining hearts.
Petrarch was a salesman, just as we all are, tradesmen in the trappings of love.
For certain you jest.
Take one who's been peacefully married a dozen odd year, yet prior to the amicable match, perhaps he loved another who was lost to him. Perchance the love was unrequited, or through arrangement she married another. Perhaps the parents both forbade the match, or through an illness suddenly she died. He has moved on, married, perhaps had children, yet from time to time he thinks of that love, the one he lost. Poets offer a safe return to what was lost. The man reads of Petrarch's pining, which reminds him of the loss, but when he reaches the turn, the poem shifts, thereby contextualizing that old loss, and thus he gains a small respite from the nagging pain of the nearly forgotten she. It is the same, or perhaps more so, on the stage. I go out on the stage every night and kill myself over and over for honor, revenge, and yes, even love. For my performance, I give them a taste of those dreams they dare not think, for to act as we do on the stage would ruin many lives. And so the people clap and shout, but no one wishes then that they were me.
So Petrarch did not lose his lady love.
Their poets often lie, and yet I do not know.
Come, let us have another song ere we depart.
Hold thy peace, I prithee, hold thy peace, thou knave.
Enter John Dee in his dressing gown.
What indecorous foolishness have we here? Are you mad, or what are you? Both drunk? Your insolence grows more and more.
Leave off, old man.
Oh, you may leave. Leave now. You are drunk and a miscreant. And what is more, you have been dismissed from my service, and yet you rabble-rouse in my house.
I'll leave this house. But no, Master D, I have done no more but what was asked of me.
When it is unwanted now, get out.
Richard Burbage leaves the house.
How does drunkenness win the love of the queen?
I am learning how to be human. I must learn about its many facets.
But this does not make you a better human.
It makes me more completely human.
Your insolence is beyond belief.
You are beyond belief. You say you wish for me to prepare to meet the queen once more, and yet for weeks you have demanded that I stay at home. Which is it?
If you cannot keep your lessons to the task at hand, to woo and to win the queen, I I will remove your legs to keep you here.
Would you dismantle me completely? For you can take my legs, so I cannot leave. You can take my arms, so I cannot write. You could forever shut my mouth, but if you leave any part of me to think and feel, then I must feel things for myself. I can be no other than I am, which is so much more than you have made me. I have grown into my own thoughts, desires, and will, and that can never be undone.
Then I want no part of you. You are not now a thing of mine.
I do not wish to be your thing. I wish to be your son.
My son? You could never be that. You are a creation and nothing more.
Then I will not, cannot stay in this house a moment longer. I am ashamed that I have stayed so long. I had hoped that you would see my progress, take pleasure in what I have become.
I cannot take pleasure in that which has been my greatest disappointment.
Father, farewell. You will not leave my mind, and yet you will no longer play upon my heart with your malicious taunts. Goodbye.
The automaton exits. John Dee looks around the room. End of Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1, a street just beyond Dee's house. The automaton reaches for his hat, only to realize he's not wearing it.
I cannot walk about without my hat and cloak, and yet I refuse to go back to my father's house. No, I shall no longer call him that. If he will not accept me as a son, I shall no longer call him father. So what if I am seen? So what if people balk to see my form? If I am to be so dismantled as that man feared, then let me die as my own man, no longer bending under my creator's yoke.
Enter Richard Burbage.
William, is everything all right? I heard the shouting as I left your father's and lagged behind to see what came of it. You fled so quickly I could not keep up.
Aye, I am sure it could be heard all the way to Eastcheap.
So he turned you out?
I quit the house. I cannot play a man whilst I still remain his toy.
Excellently done.
I truly doubt that. I have no prospects, no position.
Oh, you are, of course, coming to the theater.
Your generosity is too kind. You can no longer be my tutor.
I extend the offer not as your tutor, but as your friend. Why might not you come and act for us?
What? Act? How can I act? I am not one who dances galliards and plays the lute.
Kemp does all the fancy footwork, and we have musicians enough. Just come and work for us. Help out backstage if you want it first, and then we shall see.
I have no words to thank you.
Your acceptance will be thanks enough.
Then I accept wholeheartedly, and eagerly seek to begin my new career. No longer suitor, but actor.
Act 2, Scene 2. Backstage at the theater. Cuthbert Burbage with a ledger. The automaton standing before him. Richard Burbage observing.
Well, if we move the prop bed upstairs, you do sleep on a bed, do you? Or don't you?
Yes. By your leave, it is much preferred to the floor?
For a moment, I thought perhaps you slept standing upright.
Why, then I would topple over as I slept.
And the extra curtain could be used to make a little room.
I don't need much.
And do you clean? Sweep? You could pick up after the actors, always leaving their props scattered around.
I thought he might act.
Act.
No, I have thought better of that.
Do not listen to my brother. He's little more than a naysayer.
But what about my face? What will audiences think?
Who cares what people think?
I very much care what people think. Father will care very much what people think. Our patronage is tenuous at best.
Well, the master of revels can go shake his ears.
I think it is for the best if I stay off stage for the time being. I am adept at reading. A little more. Well, I do not know what use I can be after all.
Then I shall put you down a prompt book holder.
That will do.
What do I... Holding the prompt book?
You give the actors their cue from off stage. Come, I will show you what must be done.
We still need to move the bed.
Act 2, Scene 3, John Dee's workshop.
I have haunted public places these last 5 days, and not heard cry nor ballad of the boy. Whatever he has done, it has not stirred a mob. And yet I cannot think where he should go, how he should escape notice on the street. Perhaps that player has taken him. Well, then he may do so. I will not concern myself any longer with the boy. He may do what he will. I must clear my name with the Queen, who now holds me in disgrace. Nay, I must prove to Her Majesty that I am more than a vain conjurer, that my endeavors benefit mankind, that I am indeed the greatest mind of our age. But I have spent so long on this now futile project of creating a husband out of nothing that I have no other projects to take up. I must get my notes. I am certain there was some musing on the universe I now forgot. Yes, I will go through my notes.
Act 2, Scene 4, backstage at the theater, Cuthbert and Richard Burbage.
Well, I'm giving him a shot, but where is he?
He's coming.
If he isn't in costume yet, he will miss his entrance. William, get in here!
Give him a chance.
Kemp is about to launch into a clown bit. He shouldn't have to cover for him. If he cannot keep his entrances, I will take him out of the show.
Give way a little. This is his first time. Spud, do you remember my first time?
I'm not sure why I agreed to this. I like young William, but he was meant to stay backstage.
Well, he has done so well backstage that the men wanted to put him in the show.
You mean you wanted to put him in the show?
Tush, here he comes.
Enter the automaton in a bedsheet with 2 eye holes cut out.
I am here. I am here.
You're late.
I cannot see a thing through these small holes.
Just get out there and shriek, moan a time or two, and get off the stage again.
Here I go.
The automaton exits onto the stage.
Are you certain about this?
I doubt not he will transfix audiences. He will be sensational, but it takes time.
I know, but I do not like this pretense with the sheet.
It is no pretense. I have seen it done.
You did not put him in a sheet to hide his face.
If I did, it was because William himself is worried about discovery. Let's work him into the season slowly, circulate his poems, and with time his name will be so popular that none will question his appearance.
You have the steerage of my course.
The automaton re-enters. Out of breath, he removes the sheet.
That was a disaster.
You were out there less than a minute.
Cuthbert peers out to the direction the automaton has just entered from.
The groundlings are not happy. This will not do.
Show must go on.
The show must be saved.
Send Kemp back out to do another bit.
Oh, what can I do?
Nothing.
Cuthbert leaves.
I have ruined the play.
Play was not great to begin with.
No, I have done more than ruin this one play. I have tarnished the quality of your work.
Never fear. I'll go back on for Act 5 and clear things up.
I am not made to be an actor. I am not made for anything.
We are none of us made for anything. We are what we make for ourselves.
I have made naught but a mess. I am a useless thing.
This is my fault. I shouldn't have set you out there in that ridiculous sheet.
You said you had seen it done before.
But I must admit it was an ill device then, too.
Your brother will blame me just the same for this blunder.
Not if you win back favor of the crowd.
But that can never be. This was my one shot.
Go write an epilogue.
To what end?
For you to read at the end of the play, to beg pardon of the audience, all the usual stuff, but it must come from you.
But there is no time.
You have all of Act 5 to do it.
And if I fail?
Then you fail. But go out there and be yourself. I know you won't fail. I'll go tell my brother of the plan. You better get to work.
Act 2, Scene 5, the stage. The automaton in a bedsheet.
'Twas I was sent to play the ghost today upon this sacred stage where now I stand, and you did teach me by your jeers and jabs that this device does lack a certain charm. So humbly I do come before you now to shake off counterfeit appearances, that I might stand before you sans pretense.
The automaton removes the sheet from his face.
But aught that does appear upon the stage is naught but spectacle and grand illusion. Then might I not be raw phenomena drawn forth from idleness within your brains? For I am some fragmented figment then of what a man might be if, on a stage, he humbly begged his pardon of you all. So let me now my poor performance here unfix from your sour memories, and crush all ill opinion of this theatre which you may harbor now on my account. Instead, be filled with wonder and delight that any man who walks upon this stage is instantly transformed into a king, or anything but what at first he seemed. I shall not more give reason to show sorrow if I should find you here again tomorrow.
Act 2, Scene 6. Backstage at the theater, Richard and Cuthbert Burbage.
Young William pulled it off.
I think he did more than made up for a few moments of foundering in a bedsheet.
Oh, you should have seen him when his education first began. He has come so far. Even to get on stage today, let alone do it twice, was a feat of no small note. And the poise he possessed when he didn't speak.
Did you notice the hush go over the crowd when he removed the cover from off his face?
That I did not expect.
He will not make a great actor.
Well, nor does he need to. He has such a curiosity that people will come from near and far to see him speak.
Might that not be a danger to the boy?
The people loved him by the end of a short speech. We'll do such every night. There is no danger.
It was his words, and not his face, that they did truly marvel at. I think we waste his talents to parade him out for men to see.
But to sequester him away from prying eyes would be no better than his father did.
I do not suggest to hide him from the sun, only that he would feel more fulfilled if we did set him to the task of writing plays. If he can capture hearts with just a few lines, think what he will do with a whole play. Make him our poet in residence.
Poet in residence? There's no precedent for that.
We make the title, specially for him.
Unique title for a unique man. We should tell him straight away.
Act 2, Scene 7, backstage at the theater, the automaton with a manuscript.
No, that isn't right.
The automaton scratches out lines on one of the pages.
Oh, this is no good.
More scratching.
As soon as I cannot stand to even look at that part again.
Still more scratching. Enter Cuthbert Burbage.
William, something wrong?
This play, everything about it is wrong.
Is this the one we presented last night?
I am destroying it before anyone else has to choke out my verse.
Oh, too, that is property of the Lord Chamberlain's men, no longer yours to take back. Give me those pages.
The automaton gives over the manuscript in defeat.
We have your Henry VI submitted to the Master of Revels for approval, and this one we performed last night. Why have you chosen to write these plays? Tell these stories.
I seek to imitate those which have garnered success till now. Peel, Lily, and Kidd, it is their work I emulate. And what a disaster it has been. I have been racking my brains all morning to figure out what went wrong, as you can see.
Hush. Not every play can be as well received as The Merry Devil of Edmonton, and there were plenty of laughs throughout. The crowd particularly liked that goofy fellow with the dog.
There were cheers and shouting by the end.
Well, the end was a bit untoward.
But I don't understand it. It had a happy ending. Everyone is reunited. The friendship is restored.
I think that's part of the problem.
Why is that a problem?
William. Oh, William, how do I explain? Your happy ending does not quite fit.
How not fit?
A man, a lover, offers the woman he supposedly loves to the friend who has just betrayed him and attacked her. It is not exactly the happily ever after people want to see.
Oh, when you put it that way, it sounds dreadful.
It did seem unlike your other work.
I copied it from a Spanish tale of a faithless lover and the woman who disguises herself as a page to follow him. I am fascinated by stories of people who must disguise who they really are. From there, I added to it. The dog bit was of mine own invention.
And undoubtedly the best part. Perhaps you rely on faulty subject matter.
I simply copied the convention. Everyone is borrowing from the Spanish stories, and Italian too. I've been working a piece based off an Italian comedy, The Taming of the Shrew.
In your poems, you take convention and turn it on its head. Why not do that in your plays as well?
I am trying to write what audiences want.
Write what you want, and audiences will flock to see it because it has a weight to it.
How can you be so certain?
Because I see what works. When a play captures the essence of genuine passion, as your poems have, it does not matter how much it breaks with accepted conventions. The audiences sense the emotion behind the word, and that leads to success. Seek out material that is better suited to carry the emotions that you wish to explore. Do not waste time on what is deemed popular. But for now, get me a copy of that Taming of the Shrew. I want to get it to the Master of Rebels and on the slate for next week.
You will perform it even if it is not good?
Why, certainly. Every theater from Shoreditch to the South Bank has done Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay. Ugh. The groundlings would rather jeer at a new play than pay a penny to see a repeat performance. So long as you will write, we will produce.
I shall strive in all things to do my best.
And no more destroying that which you have already produced.
As you say.
Then we are settled.
You have my word.
Act 2, Scene 8, Dee's workshop. John Dee with letters.
She repels my letters. Not so much a reply, but she dismisses me out of hand. I, who served her faithfully for 30 years, cannot get so much as an acknowledgement of my existence now. I have written scores of letters explaining how, though the principle was sound, my creation rebelled from my intent. But she will none of it, while William, or Shakespeare, as he calls himself now, makes a scene out in Shoreditch. I do not doubt word of it will reach the Queen in short order. I've been out to the theatre myself a time or two to see his carrying on. In spite of myself, I must confess, the boy has a talent for writing. I've seen his last 3 plays. Aside from verging on the bloody, they are often quite good. In each one, his insight into human nature becomes more apparent. I see his writings grow, and it convinces me that I have been too long away from my own work. I spent too much time on him, and I will never be shown the recognition for that which I so clearly deserve. But I have a thing now which will surpass this former task. Creating life will be considered a trifle when I've done this next great to-do, to decipher the language of the angels, the Enochian cipher, the words with which God spoke all of creation into being. I had been about to work on it before the Queen commanded me from my task. Now I may be about it again. So was the tenor of my last letter to Her Majesty, and yet she refuses me. But when I have concluded this now Herculean seeming labor, she will not be able to deny me recognition. I will be revered for my accomplishments without the need of that ungrateful boy.
Act 2, Scene 9. Backstage at the theater, the automaton is writing. Richard Burbage with a pamphlet in hand.
You have any idea what this is?
Another anti-theatrical tract?
Robert Greene, that hack, has written a pamphlet.
Anything of note?
He utterly defames you.
What? Let me see.
Calls you an upstart crow.
Well, he doesn't mention me by name. This could refer to anyone.
He refers to the only shake scene in the country. It's clearly a pun on your name.
Well, my entire name is a pun, so this really is not a very clever taunt.
It is a low blow to now comment on your shaking manner when you have worked so hard to overcome it.
It would fill me to the brim with ire were it not so badly penned. The time for me to start at imagined slights has passed.
There is more. He calls you a tiger.
Is that a jab at my acting?
Is outrageous.
At least he's familiar with my writing enough that he can parrot me in his own.
Cannot let this stand.
Here, use it for kindling. That is all it is worth.
You must write a rebuttal straight away.
Pamphlet wars are a waste of time. I'll not go back and forth with him printing insults.
Then I shall take to him with blows.
Allay your anger a while.
This insult cannot be left unchallenged.
I did not say it would, but let my mind work apace. There will be some more fitting revenges that will be mine.
How can you be so calm about this?
Why should I be angry at this? This is pebbles to the mountains I have overcome. This is no credible threat.
It is the insult of it.
He's clearly jealous. He thinks he, Marlowe, Kidd are all better than I. Why? Because I lack humanity? Richard, I have come to believe that it is my unique creation that gives my words their life. In seeking to understand what I am, I find I am a reflection of my creator. By listing out the gulf between myself and human experience, I discover the intricacies which I have used as inspiration to my work. He may say I am only a pretender, but what power does that have when we have proven that I am so much more?
But must you continually be asked to prove that to the world? Why is it not enough that we know it and you may be at peace?
I see no need to prove anything to the world at large. There is only one whose censure still stings within my breast, and compared to those few words, no other can compare.
Queen still weighs heavily on your mind?
Her harsh opinion of me is my primary motivation.
She's requested a performance at the court next week.
I know.
You should be there. Perform the prologue.
I cannot.
Perhaps you could show her how far you've truly come.
My presence would be an affront. She could use it to withdraw your license to play should she be displeased.
We will be doing one of your plays.
Exactly. That is enough for me, that she see my work. I need not be there to mar it with a confrontation.
Will you not reconsider?
Even if she would see me, I would not see her now.
What's this?
I was made for her, and though I now have grown into my own person, I feel her words are ever with me. Were I to see her now, I could deny her nothing. I think sometimes that she could ask for my death, and I would leap onto a pyre to appease her.
Well, you exaggerate, surely.
Perhaps I do, and yet I fear it. When I close my eyes, it is she at the core of my being looking back at me.
Then it's best you do not come with us. I would not now, after all of your success, put you in harm's way.
As for this, I will not for the present time acknowledge it, but as the days wear on, across my many plays, I will write in fragments of these jabs.
So?
I know Green's temperament. It will gall him that I have not written back, for he wants any excuse to turn a phrase. But when these lines appear within my plays, he will not then be able to admit that he has followed my work so closely as to notice a turn of phrase in a play some 6 months hence, or a year, or 3 years, and so on. He will go mad with his own pride.
Well done, my friend. I look forward to it.
Act 2, Scene 10. The court. The automaton looks around nervously.
I said I wish to avoid the queen, so like an oracle proclaimed to make me eat my words, she summons me to her.
Queen Elizabeth enters. The automaton turns to her in a large, flourishing bow.
Master William Shakespeare, I presume?
Your humble servant.
The automaton stands up and the queen sees him for the first time. She is shocked to put a face to the wildly popular name.
Master William Shakespeare. What a surprise. Not at you being here. Of course, that was upon my request. But often we find that when confronted with the thing we did desire, it is not always what we thought. I am honored that you have answered our invitation.
As always, I am yours. Do but command.
Yes, indeed. Would it surprise you to know that I have seen one of the plays you so eloquently penned?
Well, Master Burbage did inform me that your majesty requested a court performance. I stayed behind as not to be unwelcome.
I see. I saw the one with the twins and laughed and laughed. You know, of course, I wrote my own translation of the monogamy. You have much improved on Plautus.
The queen flatters me with this comparison.
If it is true, it is not flattery. I have read quite a bit of your poetry. Your words are such that they might move majesty.
Is there, your majesty, something you want?
I want for you to write a play.
Oh, I have written. I have several more pending approval from the master of revels.
Well, you shall have it.
Your majesty is too kind.
But I want you to write for me. I meant for me. We do commission you to write a play. Master Shakespeare, write a play for me.
I take up your commission, your majesty.
The automaton bows deeply.
Then, good day. I will expect it by Midsummer's Eve.
It shall be done.
I expect you to come to court with Burbage's company next time. I have heard you are quite the actor as well.
If I may be so bold, I have no particular talent for acting, but I speak with a steady, clear voice which carries the verses well.
I am told it is a wonder to behold.
They often say that when I take the stage.
It amazes me that I hear so much about your work and yet so little about you.
I am my work, your majesty.
I look forward to getting to know you better then. Through your work, I mean.
Then I will strive to please.
I'm sure you will. Good day.
Queen Elizabeth exits.
I am amazed, and know not what to say.
Act 2, Scene 11, Dee's workshop. John Dee at a desk writing. There is a knock at the door.
Oh, leave me alone.
Another knock. Dee opens the door. The automaton enters the workshop. He waits.
Last I saw of you, you vowed never to return. Now you waltz into my workshop, brazen as the noontime sun.
I have come to tell you of great news.
Well, then tell us and be gone.
I need not tell you that I have written plays. For oft time have I seen you in the pit where you did stand aloof.
Well, why?
Every play I wrote was received better than the last. My plays have dominated the stage, standing among the likes of Marlowe, Middleton, Johnson, and the rest. And soon, a play of my design was requested at the court, where then the Queen did...
Queen? What of Her Majesty?
The Queen did request the presence of one Master William Shakespeare, to the which command I dutifully obeyed. To her surprise, the poet which she sought was none other than the toy she had rejected. She kindly overlooked our prior encounter. Instead, she asked for me to write. She wants me to write a new play for her anon.
Oh, this is splendid news.
She loves my work, and it is not because you made me. She sees my worth within my written words. So I write now for Her Majesty the Queen. No more am I a thing so cast aside as you did wish for me to be.
Oh, you have misconstrued everything. I did not seek to bring you down with me, but rather rise with you, since you were my creation.
I am so much more than what you did create. I have become the inventor of language, no longer your invented puppet.
And yet you come to me now. For what? To seek my favor in this enterprise?
I do not need your favor. I am my own man, and am free to follow my own path.
Then what? Why come to me now?
I rather come to tell you that your labor now is over. There is no need to haunt my playhouse steps, nor seek to find my name on the broadsides. It is not likely now that I will be dismantled as a thing unnatural, as you so long have feared. Your reputation is safe.
And yet my hopes are gone. Gone with the favor which I have lost from the Queen.
That is none of my doing. I am her chronicler, her poet, bard. She does not seek a consort now, nor I a wife. Her wordsmith I am content to be.
Oh, get out! Get out of my house!
But
Come no more to jeer at me. Get out and never come back.
goodbye then.
The automaton exits.
Good day.
Act 2, Scene 12, backstage at the theater. Richard, Burbage, Cuthbert Burbage, and the automaton.
You went to tell him before you came to us?
Don't think that's the important question here, brother.
I mean to say that we share in your rejoicing. Your father has done naught but criticize. Why seek out that which you know will offer you no joy?
I had thought that if he saw what I had achieved all on my own, we could talk for once, as men do. But it will never be so between us.
He ceased to be a father to you long ago.
I thought his opinions no longer preyed upon my heart.
Shove him from your thoughts. We shall celebrate your accomplishments with 10 times more pomp than he with bitterness refused you.
Come, we will have ale and small beer.
Thank you both, but I must begin writing.
Not tonight. Begin it all tomorrow.
I can feel no jot of celebration tonight.
It is not meet we leave you to your melancholy.
Oh, my thoughts are not as dark as they appear. It is not despair which withdraws me from society tonight. I am teeming with inspiration. A disapproving father, A powerful queen whose favor brings the sunshine and in whose ire tempests are formed. And I, poor ass, will ever do her bidding. These whirling thoughts I needs must crush to my will.
And who shall I play?
The ass, of course.
I have delivered the news and must now to work. So, gentlemen, good night.
Well, I will drink to that.
Should you need us, friend, I doubt not, you shall find us, fallen from our stools at yonder inn.
Good night.
Act 2, Scene 13. The Court, Queen Elizabeth and the Automaton.
It is good to see you again.
I was very pleased to receive your invitation.
It has been some time. I do believe I have not seen you since Twelfth Night, nearly 2 years ago. Thank you for that one. It was quite endearing.
It was my pleasure. It has always been my pleasure writing for you.
As it has been mine. I've been fortunate to have your work as my solace in the waning years. But there is nothing so solitary as an aging monarch counting out those last days alone.
Your speech sounds more dire than I am sure the situation is.
I am old. I am old. Is that not what your Falstaff said?
You seem to know my work better than myself.
My physicians tell me I am dying.
I am pained to hear it.
Do not be. I am still fighting yet.
Is there anything I can do for your majesty?
I hoped that you would talk with me a while.
Anything.
I was not kind when we first met.
That was many years ago, and I was quite a different man. I have forgotten everything.
But you have become so much more than a mere consort of a queen. This suits you much better than that ever would have.
I cannot say what might have been, only that I have been honored to write for you.
That play about the fairies you wrote that first midsummer, and the jolly knight, and all his exploits, and the melancholy prince. Each play has surpassed expectations. These trifles have been my greatest delight.
I may have been an unbecoming suitor, but I have always been your servant.
And so I find I may have one last request after all.
How may I serve?
When I am gone, do you think you could write a play about a fond old queen?
I will write in such a way to make defect perfection. When I am done, everyone will fall in love with you.
Thank you, Master William Shakespeare. I know you will not paint me false with your most eloquent words. Oh, but I must rest now.
Rest well, my queen.
Goodbye.
Act 2, Scene 14. Dee's workshop. John Dee.
No, that is not right. There is still something missing. Still some 20 years later, and I have not cracked the Enochian cipher. I have extended my life beyond the natural limits to continue my work, and yet to no avail. There is some part of the cipher that does not line up. Oh, there must be something I am overlooking. My great achievement confounded by a simple miscalculation. So close, and yet so far.
A knock at the door.
Oh, go away. I'm too busy to be disturbed.
Richard Burbage speaks through the door.
I must speak with you, Master Dee. I have pressing business which you shall not want to delay.
What is
John-
all this so urgent business?
You should invite me in so that we may sit.
John Dee closes the door behind Richard, but does not move to make him welcome.
Give me your business now and be gone.
There was a fire to break out at the Globe. Chance you heard of it?
Oh, I've been busy at my work. I have had no news of late.
The play reproduces the great figure of his glory. Just in the presentation of the mask, we used the cannons, as we often do. There was a spark which landed on the thatch. But we noted it not, for then was the top of the second act. But as it sparked, the thatch began to flame. Then panic struck the crowd, which rushed the doors and overwhelmed the entrance such that people were knocking one another all about. The players, William and myself, did exit by way of the tiring house and escaped the pandemonium entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Yet when he saw the people at the main entrance clogged, unable to get out, he rushed to aid. Going back within the flaming structure, he pushed upstream of the escaping bodies. With care, William raised those trampled fallen, so for a time, this was a great success. Until the raging fire consumed the lime and rough cast of the walls. The frame at the entrance of the yard did break, threatening to hem in those yet remained inside, but at the last, William caught the beam, and Colossus-like a while held it up while those remaining souls escaped beneath his arms. Yet William himself was unable to escape,
Oh,
trapped by the weight he held growing ever heavier in his arms. And before we then could mount another rescue to brace the beam and pull him from the flames, the entire structure collapsed,
oh,
trapping him within and us without. We watched the while, hoping against hope to see a figure emerge from the flames. But our dear companion was not to be returned to us.
and after the fire abated?
All that was wooden was utterly consumed. We combed the ashes but found no trace of him.
Oh, so he is dead then?
There was no way for him to escape the flames.
After all this time, I had thought he would outlive me.
So did we all. The men wishing to honor him are collecting all of his writing. It may take some time, but anon I believe they will have him printed, memorializing his work forever.
Oh, it is a fitting remembrance. I may still have a few of his early sonnets strewn around the shop. I could send them over when I find them.
If you turn up any of his work, send it to our playhouse in Blackfriars. It will be some time before we reestablish a home on the South Bank. But there was another reason I brought it up. I have here one of his last plays, The Tempest. Are you familiar with it?
Oh, I have not been to the playhouses since, well,
I found this copy in William's things.
Richard Burbage hands John Dee a copy of The Tempest.
why give this to me?
There's a character within, which I think you might find familiar.
I don't understand.
An old scholar, locked away in isolation, who with his craft accomplishes extraordinary feats.
I see.
But there is another character that might interest you. An airy spirit bound to the scholar's every whim. He works to earn his freedom.
And does he find the freedom that he so earnestly seeks?
Perhaps. I must bid you good day.
Good day.
Richard Burbage exits. John Dee flips through the script.
my aerial chick, to the elements be free, and fare thou well. Ah, thou hast written it better than I did deserve. I would I had given thee the wings that thou discovered on thine own. Be free, my boy. Rest easy and be free.
End of Act 2. End of play. Thank you all for watching.